Imagine collapsing on the bedroom floor after years of slowly dying to autoimmune disease, desperately pleading with God for your life. Our guest today experienced this firsthand and thought that this event was the end of her story. But it turns out it was only just the beginning. How did God meet her right there on her bedroom floor, and did he answer her cries for help? What steps did she take to go from death's door to helping others find life and longevity? She's here to talk about all of this and more right now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Life TV Now, where we unpack all matters of truth, faith, and freedom. Today, we continue a discussion that was nothing short of absolutely explosive last week, and we were just getting into territory that I think a lot of you are going to be very interested in because it talks about reversing autoimmunity through the lens of someone like myself who's been through a lot of it. She's an integrative nutrition health coach with a Master of Science in Health Education. Please welcome my co-host, Jamie Woodle. And she's a medical scientist with a master's in immunotoxicology and her PhD fellowship in autoimmune disease. Please welcome Dorinda Smith. This is going to be impossible. I have the unfortunate responsibility of trying to recap last week. How in the world do you recap last week? If you missed it, go back to wherever it is that you watch Life TV Now. Maybe download for free at the App Store the Skywatch TV mobile app, where all of our programs are placed weekly to keep up on what's happening here on the program. But we just had barely scratched the surface with your many years through what at the time was a series of autoimmune diseases. But the irony was you were studying as a scientist the modality and the functionality of autoimmune disease, who it is that science speculates will be encumbered by it, and then, of course, the medications that are prescribed in what you describe as an inevitable slow death. Essentially, once you've been the unfortunate one who genetically acquires, let's say, an autoimmune disease, there are pharmaceuticals here that can maybe help lessen some of what you're going to be going through, but it's going to progress and you are probably going to die early. That was essentially what was spoken over you for years and years and years as a young child, as you dealt with chronic headaches that you said would leave you out of commission for weeks at a time, sitting in a bedroom with the lights out because everything is overstimulating. And then you get into your 20s and 30s and it's a hormonal cascade, and pretty soon it's fibromyalgia, and pretty soon it's 7 autoimmune conditions that are completely debilitating. All the while you're on pharmaceuticals and you arrive, and I'm doing this very quickly so we can get right back into the moment where we had to stop last week, but you arrive in this scene where, as a scientist, you believe that you've exhausted everything that there is to know because you've studied with the brightest minds on earth about autoimmune disease. You've tried all of the medications, all the tests. The brightest minds with the biggest machines on planet Earth have looked at you, Dorinda, and you're going to die. And you're trying to stave that off. There's a moment in your bedroom where you collapse. You are too weak to literally go to the restroom and get back to your bed so that you can rest some more. And you cry out to God, God, I'm a scientist. There's got to be something. This just can't be my end. I know all these things. I literally signed up to learn about this. How can I be dying? It's that basically it. And you're on the TV. You make it back to your bed. Now you're watching TV. On the TV pops up a commercial for functional medicine ad dealing with one of the prevailing autoimmune diseases that you had been diagnosed with. You correct me if I'm wrong. I'm recapping quickly so we can get right back into it. You see an ad come up on the television that's dealing with one of your prevailing autoimmune diseases, and they offer something in terms of functional medicine. And for those that don't know what I mean when I say functional medicine, it is usually CAM, care and alternative medicine. So this is not allopathic, this is not pharmaceutical, this is more herbs, lifestyle, diet, detox, that kind of stuff. The kind of medicine that a naturopathic doctor or a holistic health practitioner might suggest that you try. And your initial reaction was, that's not for me. That's right. Because as a scientist, there's no place in academia for this. Let's have you take it from there. God begins to show you. You circle back about an hour. He keeps tapping you on the shoulders. Dorinda, go back and watch this video. Mm-hmm. You started to feel a check in your spirit, and rather than dismiss it, you did go back and watch this video on functional medicine and its options for you as a person. Once again, tell the audience at home what this autoimmune condition that you were dealing with was, maybe a little bit about what you learned in the video, and it was the watershed moment that began your journey to natural healing.
When I actually started watching the video, at first I'm thinking, and I actually said it out loud to the Holy Spirit. I actually said, all right, I will watch it already. And so I watched it. In the first 5 minutes, they're showing scientific, peer-reviewed research, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, saying, this works, this works, this works, this works, this works. All natural, all showing the root causes, many of the root causes of autoimmune diseases, not just scleroderma.
And scleroderma was the one that it was one of the prevailing ones on top of fibromyalgia that's just tearing you apart.
Yeah. Initially, my first diagnosis was severe fibromyalgia with systemic sclerosis, which is scleroderma. And then within about 3 years, I had deteriorated to a point where they had actually diagnosed me with 7 autoimmune diseases, including Crohn's, including lupus, including arthritis, and Addison's disease, which was actually caused from the medication that they gave me. But on this video, I'm seeing all this peer-reviewed research, and that's exactly what I needed to see in order to understand that this isn't hooey. This isn't woo-woo. This isn't new age weird stuff. This is actual science that is proving that there is something else than what I was taught in school. And so, of course, it was within minutes that I just sat back and I just went, oh my goodness, Lord. I cried out to you and you just answered my prayer. I just started bawling. I knew it in that moment. I knew, all right, well then, I have to learn everything I can do. And so within the next few months, and I had to do this from my bed, because remember, I'm like really, really sick. And I just went back and did what I was taught to do as a scientist and do a full meta-analysis, but this time on all the research, not just what we're trained to do when you're in school. And I started noticing that there was a pattern. There was a pattern, and being a Christian, I started just putting 2 and 2 together and realizing that, wait a minute, this really does go back to the way God wants us to be taking care of our bodies in the first place, to natural foods that aren't loaded with toxins. And please be careful not to get me started there, because our entire grocery store is just loaded with nothing but poison, pretty much.
It really is, yeah.
Pretty much. But really, getting healthy does go back to that. It's not all about the food, but I started noticing that, it has to do with your gut health. It has to do with how the toxins that you've built up over the course of your lifetime, you're not able to get rid of those. And part of that might have to do with particular genetics. But then I also started learning that those genetics can even be overcome. That your genetics really do change about every 30 seconds, depending on how you take care of your body. And just incredible things I was just... And I started just saying, well, if other people can heal, then so can I. In the beginning, I was really scared. And I thought, okay, well, even if it only buys me a little bit of time, that I can get a little bit farther and raise Jana a little bit more, then okay. I would be an absolute idiot if the Lord dropped something like this in my life and I didn't at least try it.
Right. And especially if you feel as a scientist, you've done all the conventional approaches to dealing with it. If you missed it last week, you revealed your age, but you said they had given you 10 years to live. And how many years ago was that?
So I was actually really ill for about 14 years. And so this is about 9 years ago now when I first had the revelation that there's something else that we could do. And so I did the meta-analysis. I started realizing, I started seeing all these different protocols and how to heal the gut and how to remove toxins and, how to eat better and how to take care of your genetics very specifically, very precisely. And I just said, well, all right, let's get started. And the first thing I did was I started working on my gut health because we raised goats. And I said, well, I can make a natural raw goat milk kefir, and I can drink it and just see what happens.
And for those that aren't familiar, when you're talking about a raw goat milk kefir, tell them what that is, because you're going to talk, I'm sure, next about probiotics, prebiotics, gut flora, and some of the benefits. But go ahead.
Yeah. A kefir is just, it's a very old-fashioned, people have been using this for thousands of years. It's raw milk with a healthy bacterial concoction that you can make on your own very, very easily, very, very cheaply. And people have done this for thousands of years to stay healthy, but we've lost that knowledge now today.
We really have.
We really have. And it puts the good beneficial bacteria back into your system that you're probably missing. And that's why you're so sick. And so you put that back in. Now, here's what happened to me. And everybody's a little bit different. I started noticing that I was feeling better within about 3 weeks.
Which is very fast for context.
Yes, it is.
It's very fast.
Yes, it is. And honestly, I do believe that, of course, the Lord was right in there working in and through me. He had a plan that I didn't even know existed. And of course, I'm sure he knew that I needed to see some quick benefits. Otherwise, I was probably going to throw the whole thing out the window. And so I did. And I was just amazed. And that was my first little inkling. Actually, my friend who I lived with said to me, she said, you're feeling better.
It's when other people see it.
Right.
It's like when you're gaining weight or you're gaining muscle, or you can feel nearly the same or a little bit better or worse. But it's when others start to see you've lost weight or you look better, or you kind of start to accept that if it's visible, if you can see this, it's not psychosomatic.
Right. And I was like, I am feeling a little bit better. It wasn't night and day difference, okay? When you've been sick like that for a long time, you can't have unrealistic expectations on your body. There's a lot of work people need to do to get their health back.
Right.
What I want to say so people don't feel afraid of that is that the work that you do when you're getting your health back, you feel so good about it. You know that you're lining up with the latest science. You know that you're lining up with God's truth, because all good science is God's truth. Yeah. Amen?
Yes.
And even while you're going through the process of healing, you know that you're doing the best you can to line up with God and to steward this body that He gave you. And all that whole process, what I've learned in taking care of others and what I've learned in going through this process myself, is that there is no better feeling in the world. Even when you're working on your health and you know that it's a 2-step forward, 1-step back battle, and you don't always feel good while you're working on your health, right? There is no better feeling in the world than knowing that you're no longer going backward. You are aligning with God and His design. You are being a good steward. You know that God is working in and through you to do something amazing. And you just have to live in that faith. You just have to live there. You can't let Satan lie to you and tell you that you're incurable, that all this is a waste of time, that you can't do it, that it's too hard. You cannot let him lie to you like that, because it is a lie.
That is so profound. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, this sounds very generic, listen to the Lord, don't let him lie. Let me tell you something. What she is telling you, go back and watch. If you missed everything else, go back and replay the last 30 seconds over and over again, because I'm going to tell you something. When I first left what I call the Babylonian construct And God began to show me, we're not talking about me today, but He began to show me there is life beyond pharmaceuticals and surgeries, and they took out half my colon, and I'm almost dead, and I'm in my late 30s. And I remember my good friend, Dr. Ralph, who was a part of that origin story. Josh Vance, Dr. Josh Vance, Matthew Sams, a guy named Daniel Belt. He was starting to kind of surround me with his tribe of naturopathic thinking, holistic thinking practitioners. And Ralph warned me right up front, because I was very green, I was very hopeful. And I'm telling you this as a cautionary tale. When you are first introduced to holistic healing, there's this moment of elation where you finally feel like maybe you're going to find it, right? Sometimes you'll see those immediate transitions where people found the one supplement that was the one thing. But I see the smirk, and it's because that might be 1 in 500 people. Most of the time, it took you, listen to me, it took you a very, very long time to get that sick. Your body has been in a metabolic state of survival for years. And you can introduce the right things, even the things your body needs, the B12, the methylcobalamins. You mentioned kefir, so bifidobacterium, lactobacillus, repopulating the gut flora, all the things for hormones, and you've got ashwagandha, and you're wanting the results. See, that's part of the trick. We've been conditioned to expect when we pop a pill or a supplement that we're going to get results right away.
Amen.
You're supposed to fix me, Doc. I spent $400 on this whole pile.
Instantly.
Yeah.
I've been on this for 6 weeks. Here's the thing. There is a process of detox that can take individuals a very long time.
Took me 2 years.
I would say I am still working on detox 9 years post my Babylonian construct because of the constant barrage from the sky and things that are beyond my control.
For the rest of our lives.
Yes.
We have
You
to
will be
steward our bodies
proactive
that
forever.
way.
Most of the people will never take a supplement for 30 days and bing, thank you God, if that's what the Lord would decide to do. But here's the thing, what I'm hearing Dorinda say, and I'm preparing you for the same thing. Ralph told me, he said, be ready for 2 steps forward, one step back. He said it's a literal healing crisis. And I said, wait a minute, that's an oxymoron. What do you mean a healing crisis? And you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
It is the hard, consistent, faithful work of refusing the death speak, refusing the prognosis. I wrote about this in my book called Unlocking Eden, the healing crisis. I said, you will likely take 2 steps forward and then a step back.
That's right.
Dr. Ralph prepared me for this.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Again, we're not talking about me because we're going to get into what you can offer people in this program. I was on the phone one day with Ralph, and I'm like, I don't get this. I'm having problems with gallbladder. I never even had that before. Wait a minute. So I started like this health train, and now I'm developing new problems. And he said, no. Your body has been sick for years. And now you're going through the healing crisis. It is literally going back now that it knows it has the bandwidth and the nourishment to fix these organs that have been under duress for longer than they've been alarming you. Your body was alarming you to the prevailing number one de facto, like red alert, emergency siren, deal with this thing called your colon. But now you're probably going to revisit some spaces that are going to start barking because your body realizes we could fix this now. We could heal this now.
Yes, we can.
And a lot of times a detox, it's very painful. It's very nauseating.
It's not easy.
There's the Hertzheimer effect. You can actually feel like you've got the flu if you do it too fast for weeks on end,
Right.
which I did. I went cold turkey, straight detox, tons of dandelion root, milk thistle through the kitchen sink.
Typical type A.
That's it. And I mean, it almost debilitated me.
Yes, it can.
So I'm like, Lord, I'm supposed to be in this other lane. What's going on? I'm just, as a cautionary tale, when you go back and you listen again now with context to what Dorinda is saying about refusing to accept the death speak and to never give up on the belief for your wellness, don't take that as flippant, yeah, but get to the supplements. That is such a mistake. Please hear me when I say that. Yeah. Get to the supplements. You see that too in your practice. It's, but get to the supplements.
100%.
It's because they're so wired, we swallow a thing and it has a result. This is not esoteric code language. I'm telling you very substantively. Lean into what she's telling you because part of the process is also rewiring the way you heal and your expectation of what that journey looks like. You've been sick probably for a very long time. This could be a minute. Stay faithful. Keep doing the things that nourish, make disease, have an insufferable, intolerant, hostile environment, and you will start to see those gains, those dividends. Let's just disclaimer with the amount of time we have today that you were never going to get through a personalized regimen for everybody with a specific autoimmune condition that might be watching this program. Let's fast forward to, now that we've set the table on expectations. Today, and I know this leaps like 2 more decades, we have no choice. Today, you have a thriving practice. Your testimony is a part of that. The people that you talk to understand that you're not just a head knowledge-driven person that did some Google research on autoimmunity. This is years of watching it die and go, and you're better and you've overcome, and now God has given you years of evidence that you really are capable now of understanding both the gut health parts of this and where there might need to be a genetic test that may be helping. I know that we don't hang our hats on every single one of these tests as the de facto, but maybe parts of a pie chart all together pointing towards maybe a protocol or a method for someone in order to receive healing. You have a very elaborate, very effective practice that helps people. And I want them, if they're watching this program, that are like, Joe, we're compelled. You guys have told great stories. I believe where you're at now. I can see the evidence. If you knew me 15 years ago of what God has done in your life, how do I get started? Maybe this is your moment where you're on your bedroom floor saying, God, what am I supposed to do? I've seen everybody. I've done everything. There's got to be something. Maybe this is your something. Dorinda, please tell us where people can learn about your practice online and just give us a snapshot of how that would look. If I email, if I call, what would I expect in terms of onboarding and some of the things that you would do maybe right away?
First of all, I just want to make sure that I say that, number one, you are not incurable. Number two, you have not tried everything. Almost everyone who comes to me says, I've done everything. I've done everything. And, my pat answer is, then why are you still sick? If you've done everything. If I drill down with them and I say, well, have you tried this? And have you tried this? And it's not just a supplement. It's, do you know what your level of toxicity is? That's a test that you can have done. And 3 weeks from now, you can know exactly what your level of toxicity is, which is the number one reason for your inflammation in the first place that's causing all of your chronic diseases, okay? We know that. This is basic science. These tests are not that expensive. And if you can afford to buy things for your house or, go get a couch or whatever, or have an iPhone or a new TV or whatever, you can certainly afford to allocate some of that money to make sure that you take care of your health in a way that is pleasing the Lord, that is being a good steward, that is giving you the benefits that you need in order to accomplish your purpose in life that He created you for in the first place. Hello. So yes, you can afford it. You can get a toxicity test. You can see exactly where your levels are. And so what we do, let me just back up a little bit. What we do is basically this, and I hope that this speaks it in a way that really helps people out there. In order for you to heal, your cells first have to have everything that they need. You're not going to go into a battle without armor, without weapons. And if you've been sick for a while, trust me, you have multiple cellular deficiencies, not just from the medication they put you on, not just from the food that you're eating, but from your lifestyle practices and your genetics. You have multiple areas at the cellular level where your cells simply don't have what they need to do their job. How are you supposed to heal with that 1 month detox that they tell you about on the internet if your cells don't have everything they need to do the job? And so, first of all, you need to see what your cells have and what they don't have, okay? And that's, again, 3 weeks from now. Do the test. The bottom line that makes it really simple for people to heal is that your cells must have everything they need in order to do the job, but at the same time, they cannot be overloaded with toxins. That means toxins are up here. What your cells need to do their job is down here. In order for you to heal, you got to bring the toxins down while you bring what your cells need up. And right there, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? But right there is the sweet spot where you're going to get a lot of great results. Your body is actually going to heal because if you've got everything you need And the toxins that are causing the root causes are no longer there. Now your body can do the natural thing called cellular regeneration that God created your body with in order to heal you on its own.
Right.
But you've got to remove those toxins while you're giving your cells everything they need.
Right.
And that's a process.
And it helps to know if you're dealing with a heavy metal burden or something else, because you know you may be dealing with pesticides. The reason it matters is because there's this whole thing we don't have any time to talk about called chelation, binding, removal, and depending on what it is you're encumbered by, that really tweaks the detox approach. So these shotgun blast liver detoxes that you maybe have given up on, that might be why they've helped with certain things a little. But if that wasn't your issue, you're not chelating, binding, removing the right things. We are basically completely out of time, but I know, Jamie, you're on this program with Dorinda, and you were telling me yesterday you're already learning new things about you.
Yeah, I have been on this health journey since 2020, and it has been a lot of throwing spaghetti at the wall. I read Joe's Time Bomb and Unlocking Eden, and that really opened my eyes to how I needed to clean up my diet and my lifestyle. But at a certain point, you get so close. You feel so much better, but there's still things. I still am on a natural thyroid medication. I still struggle with my weight. And so I have gone to Dory, and she has helped me. We're still in the process of doing some testing, but I recently got my genetics test back, which showed so many answers to so many questions. I do have an MTHFR mutation, which means I have to take methylated folate. I have issues with low dopamine. I don't get the satisfaction out of eating that other people do. I am highly prone to inflammation and highly prone to having blood sugar and insulin issues. And as a lot of us know in this field, insulin resistance can be the first domino that falls on the path to metabolic disease. And I needed to know, how can I go further? It seems like the only way that I can lose weight is to work out 10 hours in the gym all the time. I had to figure out, what on earth do I need to do to make things better? And part of it is giving my cells what I need. And the next step we're going to take is removing some of those toxins. So I highly encourage, if you don't know where to start, maybe consider, instead of throwing spaghetti at the wall and taking all these supplements, because hopefully something in there will help, and it's hard to know which ones are helping if you are feeling better, I really suggest that you look into seeing a practitioner such as Dory, or someone that can do this individual test, because we are bio-individual people and we have very unique needs.
Unfortunately, we're all out of time. Dorinda, we have so enjoyed having you here again this week. We will do this again in the future. I promise Dorinda will be back. For everybody here in studio, everybody up here on panel, Dorinda, Jamie, thank you so much for being here today. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that maybe for you, this was your bedroom floor moment where God is about to lift you up and ready you for the future that He's already created for you. You just have to be obedient and start walking through the steps. I'm Joe Artis Horn. Keep your eyes on the prize, which is Jesus Christ. We'll be back.